That might be it.
What's going on, world? Jack of all spades CLT back like some bell bottoms and afros. As always, I am the beloved one, DJ Spellman. To my left, we have the Pride of Africa, Kenwa BB.
Yes, it's the Pride of Africa, Kenwa BB. Shout out to all the diaspora. Shout out to all the diaspora.
Set it off on the right, the boy, Banks on the beat.
Yes, sir. Banks on the beat, Blue Water Banks. Fat Boy Tires.
3700
Wilkinson Boulevard.
The hub. I didn't get it this time.
We got it right this time. Hold tight, Jay Marlowe, a.k.a. Local 6, but we have our podcast manager.
Yes.
Amadis running the cameras today. We got a special guest snuck in through the back door. We got Skinny Jason somewhere in the studio.
Sir.
But today, our special guest, well, she's from the west side, Hoskins Road to be exact. October's very own, we have Cheryse Terry. What's going on, madam?
How you know that? Hey.
You have a good and thorough research team.
I like that. I love it. Like, wait a minute. Okay.
Big up the research team.
I love it.
But how you living?
I'm living. I'm feeling. I'm creating.
Creating, like that. Like
Creating.
Okay. Now, we always start this podcast off like this. For our new listeners, our first-time listeners, our last-time listeners, it's our introduction. It's your flower segment. So, for you, a mother first and foremost, new age historian, visionary, artist, entrepreneur, fashionista, creative scholar, it's called dicey. I was talking about you before.
Wait a minute now.
Archivist.
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 All right, there it is. Thrift store. All right, you know what? Y'all want to start now?
We're going
Thrift store champion, curator, founder, and owner of Archive Book Cafe.
Yes.
Visual storyteller. No Limit Larry, Big Dog of the Week. Featured in Black Gaze, Black Women Radicals, Axel Charlotte, WCNC, and Spectrum News.
Wow.
Talk about it.
Yeah.
Talk about it.
You make me sound so official.
You
wow.
are. Let's be clear.
Thank you. Yes, but I guess for myself, I just see myself as like a collector and like somebody who exists and love the things and want to share them with the world. But I appreciate like all that y'all wrap together for that because I ain't even know some of that stuff. I'm like, I'm that. But yeah.
That's your journey. This
Yes,
is your you right
thank you.
here.
Yes, but all those things for real. I don't know if you want me to like kind of get into it, how I got started, or you want to wait on it.
Yeah, why not? Let's
Okay.
give us some background.
Yes.
Okay. Well, I grew up, like he said, the west side of Charlotte, from Hoskins Road, and I was adopted when I was 2 days old, and my parents were already like in their almost 50s. So I've always been around antique things, and just realized I think collecting is a southern thing because we have the space. So you know your grandmama don't ever throw away no obituaries, and you go they sit up on the mantelpiece, and it's just always been a part of my everyday practice. And so I just started collecting and realized, like, hey, I want to share this with the world. Yes, thrifting. I thrift, like, every week, and I love a sale. I'm cheap as hell.
Frugal is the word. We ain't going to say cheap.
Okay,
Bargain
frugal.
hunter.
Okay, bargain hunter. Yes, thank
Now
you.
that you speak of sales, though, it's a good segue. Because we know what you do on Saturdays.
Yes.
But let's tell the world, how many yard sales you went to yesterday?
See, I'm in the middle of building archives, so I haven't been able to do it.
Okay,
I haven't
okay.
been to a good yard sale in a minute. And I passed the signs, and I'm like, oh, I'm going there tomorrow. And then I get a call the night before, like, oh, you know, we need your archive at 8 o'clock, so I missed it. Different contractors and stuff. But typically, yes, I do yard sale. I'm still on Craigslist looking for yard sales. People still post yard sales on there. Facebook Marketplace, and just riding in neighborhoods and stuff. So that is what I do.
You got an eBay account?
Maybe.
I ain't trying to get with it. All right. We're going to leave it there, though. We're going to leave it there.
Asking too many questions now.
No.
All right. So you had this quote by one of my favorites, the Black Godfather, so big up Clarence Avant, and rest in peace to his wife, on IG that says, some people influence the masses. Some influence the people who influence the masses. So talk about the people or eras that inspired your art, fashion, and the archive movement.
First and foremost, like my mother, just like being a giver, being real into the church growing up, always seen her like throwing her own yard sales and throwing fish fries to like make away. And just taking nothing and making something out of it. I mean, she seen the baby that was given away, and she was like, "Oh, I'm gonna make her a superstar," and I feel like I am because of her. So that was my first introduction to, like, I guess, repurposing, because where someone see me as like invaluable, she seen value in me and, like, you know, raised me up in that way. So I guess that's how I look at everything. Like somebody's old Jet magazines, it's like, wow, I didn't know this, you know, part of history. So I've had my own fair share of, like, having people that's way more influential than I am, and, like, being able to pour into them, and, like, just, you know, always reminding people that you by yourself, no matter accomplishments or not, like, you have something to offer the world. So, and I've seen them go from, like, here to there based off, like, you know, just constant encouragement. And, you know, so I feel like sometimes, you know, you got to play the back scene and just, you may not be the person that's influencing, but if you can pour into somebody that has a bigger reach than you, then this journey is still,
Nice.
you know.
Nice.
Yes, thank you.
Nah, no, thank you for the words. Nah, I always say, you know, somebody needed to hear that message. So when this episode comes out, it's going to touch somebody in a special way. So we appreciate you lending those words.
Thank you.
Now, I got to fully disclose I've been practicing this word off camera for like a minute. So excuse me if I butcher this, but you're all about the Black ephemera.
Yes.
Oh.
Now, first, what is that? And then second, talk about the importance of preserving it.
So ephemera is just a fancy word for items of collectible memorabilia.
Gotcha, okay.
So it was, you know, magazines and newspapers are considered ephemera because it was meant for that month and that year, but it's been collected. So I kind of like to, in the practice of collecting and preservation, introduce my own community to the words that is used. So familiarize us with it. And like you said, well, a lot of people say, what is that? I never knew it exists, but introducing that and being comfortable with the words, because we do it all the time. Even if we had our second grade report card, that's a ephemera for your own personal life. So it's important because I feel like you have to be a part of your personal Black history. Like, our personal Black history makes up the larger part. So if we collected our things and our kids pass down, it gives us a stamp on what we done and where we come from. Like, I journal all the time. Sometimes in my journals, I write directly to my children. Because one day, like, I got photo albums. Like, every year I send 500 photos to Shutterfly. You could do, like, think 200 or 300 for $20. Because, God forbid, something happened to us and all our memories is in our phone, and our phone is destroyed. That's your personal history wiped out. Even our computer, password protected. Yeah. So because we've transitioned to digital, a lot of our history we don't realize is going to be gone. It's going to die with us. So I still had, although you should scan it and, like, put it in a digital way that's public for your family, I still print stuff off of my kids, like flip through photo albums of their friends last year or stuff they done last year. So I feel like your personal history and collecting your own ephemera makes up for the larger history for you on down the line.
Got you.
That's dope. You're building that up for your kids as well.
Yes.
For real. But you got some pieces right there. Are there any special ones you want to highlight at this moment? You got a lot of stuff over there.
Yeah, I wanted to bring, like, to kind of give you an idea of, like, what's going to be in archive and, like, things that's important to me, or, like, what to expect to see.
So camera over here.
Here's a few pieces. So for the Jet era, we have, like, Angela Davis, Huey P., Shirley Chisholm, you know, like
heavy hitters.
Heavy hitters like that. You know, the work that John Johnson did for publication for us is, like, outstanding. It's like social media could never. Like, this was a weekly publication. So to get all this information that's still current, still relevant every 7 days is like, we could never. And then I got, you know, for the grown folks that remember Players Magazine, and you know, and then the younger folk, Missy and the Source Magazine, and everybody needed the mics. You know, this is what validate if your music was hot or not.
Source.
It wasn't social media. It wasn't comment section. It was like the people who ran the magazines determined if your shit was hot or not. And like comic books, Black comic books, I have like a plethora of these for the children.
Is that Martin Luther King?
That's Martin Luther King. Okay.
So they did like
he
a
is a
little
superhero.
comic about that. Yeah, you're able to see that. And so Jive Magazine and like Bronze Thrills are like gossip magazines from back in the day. Like, look at the title of this, Secrets of a Crippled Man. I couldn't use my arms or legs, but I kept my red hot wife happy. Like, just crazy.
Shout out to
Let me dive into that article.
Listen, the stories was crazy. Torn between two men, I gave my body freely, but neither had my heart. Like, it was so dramatic back then.
Hey.
And this is 76. Like, what was y'all on?
Let me ask
Same
you
shit
real
going on.
quick. That's the only one that second one that you had in plastic. Why'd you keep that one in plastic?
Well, I
specifically?
grabbed these off the shelf.
Okay.
So all of them going to be in plastic, but I just
Okay.
grabbed these on the way out. And then
Gotcha.
original Black Panther newspapers.
Wow.
So I have
Damn.
that. And I'll even
Wow.
have like living artists such as Jamel Shabazz, heavy hitter photographer. This is his dead stock, time before crack and back in the days. So I have my hand on like very rare stuff. So I want Archive to be a place where you come and you could bring your mom or you could bring your kids and it'll be relevant to everybody
Yeah.
else and feel at home.
Got you.
That's fine.
Let me ask a quick question before you go on to your next question. So all the items in archives going to be for sale? Or
All
there's
of them.
some? Oh,
All
all
of
of them
them.
are. So nothing's going to be just exclusively staying in the store.
No.
Got you.
Let
Okay.
me expand on that. So if it's for sale, is it like a bid process or a first come
No,
first serve?
it's like you going to a magazine or a bookstore. It's on a shelf.
Okay.
So we'll have a selection for the week
Yeah.
and say you buy 2 off the shelf or get the looking naked. My employees will replenish it based off what we have, and then
Yeah.
what's done for the week is done for the week. But yeah,
shit.
everything
Yes.
will be for sale.
See, I keep
That's
items
nice.
in stock and all that.
Yes,
Okay.
yes.
So, with that being said, I know you just showed us all this stuff, and you know he got a lot of pieces that put a regular art museum to shame. So, do you know how many pieces of Black collection you have? Like, do you know what the number might be around?
Damn. Well, for magazines, maybe like over 1,200 or
Oh, wow.
2,000 or something like that. And then I have different statues and things. So probably close to like a little under 5,000 items. You heard it here first. Next year, you heard it here first on this podcast.
Okay.
Hey.
Exclusive.
Exclusive. So,
I'm
I'm about to tell you.
This is for you. You go ahead.
Okay, so June after the Picasso show at the Mint Museum,
Okay.
there's a show called The Vault, which is like on the main floor, not the top floor, on the main floor. So I am part of the exhibition. I'm the youngest collector by like 30 years. All the collectors
Okay.
are like early 50s, and so they recreate in my living room in the Mint Museum. Like
Nice.
Oh, wow.
so every week Mint Museum come by and scan all my stuff. And they like insure it, and they're gonna have my couch in there, and you're gonna be able to like some part of a show, the collection show.
Nice.
Jack of all spades exclusive right there.
Yeah.
And this is in January.
No.
Oh, no.
So June it's June of next year.
June of
Okay.
next
The
year.
show
Okay,
is called
got
The
you.
Vote, and it's by
Gotcha.
all collectors. So I'm the only ephemera collector. All the other collectors are art, and I think somebody else has something else, but they're all Black collectors.
Nice.
Older people.
Yeah.
I'm like the youngest in there. It's
So how
a
you
beautiful
Big up
show.
yourself.
Thank you.
How did they find you?
My friend Jessica Moss is the curator of the show,
Big
and
up.
Okay.
she was the curator over at Harvey Begin, and she's like really big in the art world. So she pitched the exhibition idea, and they ran with it. So it's
Shout
an
out.
official show.
Nice.
Oh, that's hard.
Gonna love it.
Definitely gotta be there.
Yes.
Yeah, for sure.
Out of these, right under 5,000 pieces you say you have, can you tell us what your most prized possession is?
Most prized possession?
Yeah, because it's probably not at the spot now, so you probably keep that at the crib. Something that is most prized though.
I would probably my son Angela Davis autobiography, only because I bid it on a site, and I just thought it was just the first edition, and I got it for like under $50.
What?
Got the book, and it was signed. The pages were stuck together.
So you didn't even know?
No,
I
I didn't know it was signed. It just said "In the Struggle," Angela Davis. I was like, it's like $50. It's crazy.
Yo.
So that would have to be like top tier.
Okay, and also let me ask: how do you determine what goes in the coffee shop versus what you keep personal at home?
Probably access. Like if it's something that I can find again, I'm in touch with a lot of collectors, like older Black collectors that are like liquidating their items to me.
Okay.
So
Nice.
if it's something that I have multiple of or that I know that I have access to, then I don't mind like partnering
Okay,
with.
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Nah, that definitely makes sense. Cause I was just about to ask. I know that Angela Davis ain't going into the store.
Hell no. Maybe behind glass or something.
All right, so Archive wants to do more than just preserve Black culture. You wanted to be a beacon for the community. So speak on your passion for the youth and the unhoused individuals.
Okay. Archive is a community space. Like, additional to it being a bookstore and an ephemera store and antique store, it is a full functioning coffee shop, tea bar. You know, it's a full space. It's a whole thing. But I've already partnered with Stiletto Bosch University with Jania. She has chapters inside the schools and CMS and kind of helping girls that's like me. I was a teen mother. I had my daughter when I was in 9th grade. But she's kind of giving them a glimpse and perspective on entrepreneurship. So me and her have teamed together to do a book club, and I want to introduce the girls to Toni Morrison. So in that way, I want to contribute to the youth, the unhoused. I want to have workshops to offer resources such as housing and just funnel the information that maybe the city is offering, but maybe the unhoused people doesn't know. So I want to have different clinics, food drives that will be, because I'm in the vicinity, I'm Badersford Road, so it's a lot of people to serve over there. Okay. So I'll be doing a lot of community work in that way as well.
Please, let's collaborate on that.
Okay, for sure.
Please.
For sure.
So you talked a little bit about your book club. Speak on self-care through literature.
Self-care through literature. I'll say the reason why I even started my book club was one book, All About Love by Bell Hooks.
Okay.
I read that. A friend just like, girl, you need to read this. Some good, talking about love and all that. Okay. But her perspective on love versus cathesis, like how we come to our definition of love. It even, like, I was a spanker to my kids. Like, we grew up, we get a spanking. You can show your ass, you get ass whooping. But in one of her chapters, she said, so she gave a scenario about, she asked a group of intellectuals like us, that's upward, in life, and was like, if you seen a man in here hitting a woman right now, would you intervene? And everybody was like, yeah, like, duh, like, oh, you're not listening to me. So, no one advocates for children in the same way. And it's like love and abuse can't live together. So, how do you, with you whooping your kid or like being physical with your kid, you're teaching them that I love you, but this is what happens if you don't listen. Like, it's okay for me to do this. And so that's us accepting abuse at a young age. And so, of course, every generation have a different access to liberation. And so in that, I kind of like, man, maybe I should be a little gentle. And I have. Like, it literally changed the way I, like, parent, that one book. And so, like, I'm a little more patient with my girls and want them to understand love in a proper way. So I knew I needed to share that with other people. So I created a book club. Thought I maybe had like 15, 20 people. It was 50 people. It was 50 women showed up. So my friend girl, she has a gym over on the north side. And I was like, she just let me use it free of charge. And we had blankets and pillows sitting there with the ladies. And ladies was in there sharing like their stories of molestation. They had never shared it with anybody before. And it was like a beautiful thing. And it was a lot of healing that took place. The only thing I felt like I was missing from that book club was, okay, we shared our traumas, like women were able to release, but I didn't have like a therapist there or somebody to tell them how to get to the next. So that's what I plan to do now. It's like have licensed therapists to be, when we do have heavy subjects like that, to be able to introduce them to therapy after the book club. But dope. I love communing with women. I'm a girl's girl.
Got you.
Yeah. Amazing.
Sticking on books.
Okay.
What books are you currently reading?
I'm rereading The Bluest. I'm obsessed with Toni Morrison, as you know. It's just like her words are like, it's just like a hug. It's like, I don't know. She's just like, God damn, Toni. So I'm rereading The Bluest Eye because I'm gonna introduce it to the book club with the youth, and I want to make sure I'm fresh on it and able to talk about stuff. So I'm reading it, and I'm reading. I just ordered like Howard Schwartz's book, the guy who invented Starbucks, because I want to make sure Archive got top tier experience.
Gotcha.
Like
he doing the research.
Yes. I'm diving into that heavy. Yeah, for sure.
What was that book by Bell Hooks again?
All About Love.
All About Love.
All About Love.
You see me,
R.I.P.
I'm
Bell
really...
Hooks. She just passed last year, but All About Love. It's the best. You just have to, everybody should read it.
All About Love.
Yes.
To take a step in real quick, I know we're talking literature, but you talked about your background and your parents being the age that they were when they took you in. I want to ask what your environment was like, as far as even like we're talking about literature and arts. How about like music? Like what kind of environment did you grow up as far as that? Oh,
I mean, my parents were really into the church, so I definitely heard all the gospel that you could think of.
Okay.
Shirley Chisholm. What's the man down there in Florida? Harvey something. What's his name? You know what I'm
Don't
talking
ask
about?
me. I'm not big on
Ah,
that.
dang. I gotta clean up what I messed up. Started my life over again. You don't remember that? Oh my God. Okay. So stuff like that.
Church.
But like Liquor House, I call it Liquor House church music. Like I grew up out of that, but I grew up off Stevie Wonder. My mama's favorite was
course.
Betty
Yes.
Wright. She loved Mr. Big Stuff. Who do you think you are? You know.
Okay.
Stuff like so. It was all oldies. It was all oldies, and that's what I listen to now. Even my kids were like, "Can we listen to something after 1980, please?" No. I love the instruments. You know?
Yeah, the instrumentation was dope.
Let me jump in because the research team told me Hotter Than July, Stevie Wonder vinyl. No, I go deep with Stevie, so big up. Big up to that.
Yes, I love How to July. Rocket Love, he said, you drop my black ass down to this cold, cold world. Like, okay, not black ass. Right?
Like, learned you something right
Learned
there.
you something, okay? Learned you.
Now, I want to get into this background. I don't know what this is.
Okay.
I want to find out.
Okay.
So, is creating a shipping container community still something you want to do? What is the shipping container community?
So the shipping container homes, I was in Mexico,
Yeah.
and we had flew into Cancun, but we stayed in Tulum about 3 years ago. So on the drive there, it was a shipping container that was a store. That was converted into a store. Shipping container.
Okay.
Yes. And I was like, damn, how they do that? And so we went over, and they were stacked, and it was like, I'm obsessed with architecture and stuff, so it was like very minimalist, like very just, it was functional. And so I was like, I wonder if people can live in something like that. So I started Googling away and like realized like people make houses out of stuff like that. So I got some land for my birthday about 2 years ago. It's not cleared off in Rockingham, North Carolina. And so I do plan to like but I want to start off like just having a few there for like, not Airbnb, but maybe like something amongst friends, like a subscription or something where you can go, like timeshare.
Okay.
Just to pilot it with timeshare, and maybe have like you have the calendar open, you pay a month like for maintenance, and people able to go there, like the getaway house. They kind of got the same idea.
Right.
Yeah, but I would love to have a community of people that are able to live off the land, like have teachers within the community, have businesses in the community, and like our own little life. Like, our own Wakanda.
That's dope.
But that is still a dream of mine, and it's obtainable. I feel like we have abandoned the rural areas of the South, and some people moved up north, and we moved to the cities, and it's like unfortunate that if the food dried up, we wouldn't even know how to farm. When we used to be farmers, and now like
You can't grow nothing.
niggas can't even grill, let alone farm. The hell?
And look, when somebody hear this episode, they gonna be like clutching their chest. Damn, you talking to me?
For real. Like, how many men under 40 got a grill in their house for real? Like, you just don't. And it's like, that's
the truth.
For real.
That's the truth.
Out of 10 of your friends, maybe two.
Maybe two.
And that's our norm. It's like, and part of preservation is like, we have to get to preservation of culture too. Yeah. Because we can't get so high up on the hog that we forget normal shit. Like, it needs brunching and shit. Fuck brunching. People need to go get some steaks. We all need to go back to the crib, play our music, dine like we used to be. Like, I mean, it's fine to go out, but it's like, we used to dine every Sunday, every Saturday. You go to your uncle's house, you go to aunt's house. All the kids play together. Like, we grew up with people. I mean, we friends with people, and our kids don't even play together anymore. When we grew up around, all of our parents' friends, kids, and stuff. So that's part of preservation of our culture that I wish we brought back.
Message. For real.
Yeah, convenience is taken away from a lot right now.
It is. Like, we just getting too high up on a hog. And I was just talking yesterday. It's like, we can't get to a point now, because everything before us got us to this point. It was like a rope that we all pulled. I feel like now we at this part of the rope, and we feel like we need to chill. No, it's still more to do.
Yeah, it's
and
a lot of work.
We're not individuals. Like, we have a responsibility to each other that we just don't feel anymore.
But that's man, not to put it into a different context, but that's like Afrocentric. That's what we come from.
Yeah.
The village.
The village.
You know what I'm saying? You can't go without looking back and bringing in people with you. But like you said, getting too high on the hog, like we trying to do like they do.
Yeah.
Nah.
We can't. And I literally said we can never be so high on the hog that we start having the same mindset as far as like how we live. We can never get like that. Like, I was told, I reached out before I crowdfunded, I reached out to a friend. Well, I reached out to a person on investing in archive. Just a couple, just nothing. Like really, it was no money.
Yeah.
And they was like, well, if you put it somewhere else, I don't really like because it was on Batesford Road. They didn't want to touch it. And like people was like, oh, well, what are you gonna do over there? And I'm just like, listen, money is in exchange for time. Time is exchanged for money for me. I want to go outside and see people popping wheelies, yelling across the street. Like, I love that. Yeah. Like, I don't want to have it in a shopping center on Park Road. No, I want my shit on the floor. Hey, come on, get your cup of water. Like, you can't sit here. Nah. So it's like, yes, I don't want to ever be like that. Yeah. It's dangerous to start being like that.
Yeah.
And like you said, just us forgetting our history, like with stuff being so digital.
Yes.
We gotta take it back to the roots.
We gotta take it to the roots. I found myself, because Archive has took a lot on me financially. So I was kind of stressed about some things that I need to take care of. But then I had to check myself, like, this is a third world problem. I'm crying about a business. Like people at home, like the Kim Kardashian mom, like people dying, Kim. Like I'm on Batesford Road, people hot as hell at the bus stop, and I'm crying about something I need for archive. Like, nah, we can never forget. Like this, our problem is not real problem. I mean, they are, but not really.
Yeah. Hear that. And I gotta say this, I gotta big you up because a lot of times our stories are controlled and shared by people who don't look like us. And then archive by you controlling this and by you telling our stories, our past history through these magazines, books, comic books. I appreciate that a lot.
Thank you.
We don't see that.
Thank you.
We don't see that from people who look like us. That kind of hit a soft spot. That's why I wanted Jay to get you on this podcast so bad. Like, we're gonna have this and talk about this and let people know that this is coming.
Thank you.
Even furthermore, like the influence it gives to kids that get to come in there and see who owns it, who's running everything, and all these people on the wall that look like them and see their history they never knew about. Like it aligns everything.
Look, they damn sure not gonna see it in the schools.
No, and I feel like a lot of times I've noticed that some businesses are just scared to be black. Like I got somebody write my press release and she asked, "Do you want to use black or you want to use people of color?" I'm like, "No, I'm black." Like there's nothing wrong with that. Like you go to Mexican restaurants, it's a full culture thing. Like you go to Italian restaurants and you enjoy the experience.
Yeah.
So I don't want to be like, ooh, I don't know who owned this. Or like have that surprise. Like, no, I literally can have Malcolm X on a wall and you still have excellent service and we be proud. And so what Archive is what I say is a physical celebration of the black experience that welcomes all. It's just black centered, but everybody's welcome.
Exactly.
Talk your shit, yeah.
Stop.
Now, I want you to speak on this tweet you put up.
Okay. Like,
everybody get scared when we bring the tweets back.
I have like 3 followers. What do you mean, tweet?
I know, right? Be like from 2012.
Right.
But no one is you, and that is your power.
So, Ralph Emerson, which is a white man, but I'm calling him, imitation is suicide. If you think, like, that's what he's saying. That's true if you think about it. If you're trying to be something else, you're literally killing who you are. So I feel like no one is you and that is your power. We all have our place and we all have our contributions to the world. And so I feel like understanding that there's no such thing as comparison. You have to find what your journey is to doing. You could be a person picking up trash off the street. Like the guy, so I'm into photography and I was a part of this exhibition. And I took a picture of the unhoused man in his hands, and I seen him again on Batesford Road, and I'm like, "Oh, you don't know who I am? Well, I don't know who the fuck you are." I said, "So you gonna let me take a picture of your hands again?" And he like, "Oh my God, niece, that's you, you know." And I showed him his hands in the museum, and in the gallery, and he was like led to tears. He could not believe that like I framed it, and he was like, I was like, people came to see it, and he was so shocked. And so I walk on the niggas, we got some grits, and he said the grace. And so he held my hands, and while he was praying, he was like, "And God, help her financially, help put a hedge of protection around her." He just began to pour into me. Yeah. Honey, I broke out in tears because I needed that. I was down on my luck that day. So again, the world may look at him like he's unworthy because he unhoused. He may smell like a little liquor or whatever. But in that moment, he was able to uplift me to get on and take care of some shit I need to get to. So that's his power. His power is he can encourage you even in the midst of his circumstances. So if you always caught up in the circumstances of what you feel like you should be doing or what you should do or what somebody else got, then you may be missing the word that God laid on your heart for somebody else. So I feel like you have to always stand in your power, know how big or small you think you are. We all gonna end up in the dirt. So your 24 hours, you have to put on your best face because you don't know that one hello or that one girl, I like your shoes may change to the trajectory of somebody's day.
Yeah.
Nice.
Message.
For
Yes.
real. Preaching for the message. Ain't it Sunday too?
No, it's just a real thing.
No,
we
no,
forget that,
man.
man. I just hate it.
No, but to that point, giving somebody a nice word, that could end up in a business opportunity too. Like you said, you never know what your one word or your one gesture, how that can reach somebody. Now that's
Exactly.
Every time.
it's in home.
Listen, I said manners and how you treat people that got me in the rooms that education never could have ever got me in. I'm a West Mac graduate, 3 kids before 24. You know what I'm saying? Like a lot of people have really wrote me off a long time ago, but my mom being that woman that really, even being pregnant at 14, I never felt shame around it. She made me feel like you just fell off the wagon, but you keep going. So that type of confidence instilled in me have made me feel like I can do anything. Even when I seen her get her leg cut off, and she's still like encouraging everybody. And it's just like I done seen people, even in the worst circumstances, still be able to encourage and give you a word. So I just want to always be that.
Now, before I get to this next thing, but let me just be clear. You've been a boss. You've been a CEO. 3 kids before 24, still working, still living, still thriving.
Exactly.
You've been a CEO already. Archives is light work. Archives is light work.
Pretty much.
Them
My daughter
kids is
graduating
something
high
else.
school next year.
Big up.
Congrats.
Yeah, I'm packing my daughter for college. It's
She
feel
said,
weird.
Pat, she ready to like get up out of here.
Living your life,
Yeah.
see some things.
Shout out to Mom for instilling you with that too.
Thank you.
Yes.
Yes, please.
Sure.
All right. So, Cheryse, have you thought about the name for the vintage style ice cream shop yet?
Oh God! Now, how you know that too? I did tweet that one.
I'm just saying the research team is thorough out here.
I love it. No, I haven't thought about it yet. But I just know that like the ice cream names. Man, let me get that.
Can we get some?
Yeah. Man, let me get that ODB, that old dirty bastard. and have it be like a, what's the ice cream with all the mousse, all that stuff in
Yeah.
it? Yeah, let me get that Nita Baker. You know, like, and then, you know, the napkins, and it have all the icons on the wall.
Ooh.
And have the boombox, had like, in the receipt look like CDs. It's just going to be fly.
Okay.
So is this going to be in archive or this is another project?
It's another venture that I'm just thinking about. I'm ready for it, but not right now. I just need to see how Archive do build that up. But that's next on the roster. We need our own culture ice cream shop. We need everything our culture.
Yeah.
Like we do.
That would be hard to usher that through the shop though, the archive. Like
Yes,
I seen kids do it with their stuff with the little ice cream treats they do, but yeah, we need that.
we do need that.
We need that.
Before you go on to
Go
the
ahead,
next
you
thing,
good,
yeah,
good.
I got a question.
Okay.
So I know Archive is here based in Charlotte.
Yes.
So do you have any plans to expand into like an Archive in New York or Archive
Yes.
in LA or just have it
Yes.
all over the spot?
Yes. So when I crowdfunded, I don't know
Yes.
if y'all know, but I crowdfunded 40K in 40 days, and that was very intentional. You know, I do biblical references a lot because I was raised in the church, but 40 days they were in the wilderness to the promised land. So I wanted to go put myself out there and see what I could do. And that's a big ask
That
for a
is.
lot of people in 40 days. So, but it happened for me. So I said, I'll let to say within that, it garnered the attention of a lot of investors. So I had like 6 or 7 investors that wanted to invest in the archive, but I settled on 2 guys out of DC that are investors. One of them has been an attorney for a lot of years. And it was just good. But within of course, them investing money, it's in exchange for, of course, a percentage, but I get free business mentoring. I can call them at any time. Like it's the best situation. It was the best situation Archive could have been in because I was so used to sales.
Yeah.
That sales and business is 2 different things.
2 different beasts.
Like I didn't really know about accounting, how to go about getting a CPA, and I mean I just didn't want to do nigga business. If I was gonna do
Yeah.
it right, then
Yeah.
it needed to be. And when I say nigga, I mean ignorant.
Yeah.
I wanted to make sure that it was like it could scale.
Yes.
So under their direction, and my CPA's direction, I am planning to scale Archive out. I would love to have it in places that has a black population like Columbia or Charleston or places in Georgia. That would appreciate it and like have value. So yes, Archive. Hopefully, the ultimate goal is for Archive to be franchised out, like what the twins did with No Grease. Like think about the concept of just the basic barbershop, but no grease is no grease. Like when you think of it, you think of bow ties, you think of service, you think of price, and
top tier.
Yeah. And what they took as a normal barbershop that has been happening since the beginning of time and made a business module so tight that it's franchisable and it's right here in Charlotte. That's goals. So something as simple as a coffee shop or a bookstore, being able to recreate it over and over under the guise of us is the goal.
Nice.
Okay.
Big business.
Major shit. Big gal team. All right, so Cheryse, we've reached the most popular segment of Jack of All Spades Nation. We like to call this thing Top 5 Dead or Alive. So shout out to Locks. So we know when they finally mint the first Harriet Tubman $20 bill. You probably had that. But what are your top 5 Holy Grail items that you wish you had?
Oh, I wish I had a signed Bluest Eye. First edition Toni Morrison. I want to sign Bluest Eye. Or like Toni Morrison just passed, but she said that she always wrote her books, like the drafts, on the yellow like pads.
Writing pad? Okay.
Yeah, writing pads. I forgot what they call. But so I would love to like find it and have it. So I would love to have that, or a signed book. I would love to have the first ever Ebony magazine. That's the first copy. So I want that. I think it was 1945. So I would love a copy of that. I would love Watch the Throne CD. I can't find mine, but that gold cover, that Virgil design, I want that.
Yeah.
I want that. Darn. Well, I don't know, something Malcolm X, like a letter or something. Maybe some exchange or some type of letter that he wrote and sent out. And an original Westax poster. Concept press poster.
Okay.
Now, let me just touch on it because it's special to me. But Toni Morrison, I've always seen that quote about, I wrote my first novel because I wanted to read it. Like, that's why I wrote my novel, because she inspired me to do that. There was nothing like that I wanted to read, so I had to do it myself. So rest in peace, Toni Morrison.
Yeah, same with Archive. I wanted to create a place that I wanted to go to, like that I felt like. I recently learned, so Archive, heard it here first. Archive was originally was just going to be a bookstore. When I acquired About the Space, I wanted to just sell this. The building, Chris Dennis, he owned the strip. He's a black man that owned the strip on Batesford Road where Chase Bank is. So they were very intentional about the businesses they want to go over there. It's going to be all black tenants again. But they were saying their vision for the space was kind of have like a coffee shop in there. And I'm like, as a person that never owned a coffee brewer, I don't know. They were like, well, if we get you the proper mentorship and somebody guide you in it, would you do it? And I'm like, okay, that's a revenue stream. Sure. Whatever. It can't be that hard. They hooked me with Tony from Enderley Coffee. Shout out to Tony. White man, but doing the work. We doing the work.
We be allies.
Yeah, for real. That's Tony. So Tony kind of have walked me through every part of the coffee business. And then it led me to realize coffee culture, it's a culture. It's not just like a drink. Like, people, this is a thing. And so I recently watched the documentary by Coffee is Black out in Memphis, and reclaiming coffee as black. Coffee is Ethiopian. And they colonized the bean and took it around. Yes. And so, but when you go to coffee shops, we don't really see us. Like the culture of coffee shops is not black.
No, it's not.
But coffee itself is black. So then, of course, with preservation, now I'm all in. I'm like, teach me. I need to know all the things. Yes. And now I'm more excited about that module. And so that's what made me even have the coffee part of Archive. And so what was the question again?
No,
what was the question? So
it was your top 5 Holy Grail
No,
items.
we already said that.
Oh, that was it?
No, it wasn't. It was something else. No. You said about the Toni Morrison quote. So when I said yes, no. So you said she wrote the book that she wanted. So I created a space that I wanted to go into myself, because I do like coffee shops, working, being around people. I love the minimalist aesthetic, but the music has never been ours. Like we may get a top 50 song here and there, and the images are never ours. So creating a space that I wanted to go into, I want my people to want to go to and feel at home, and not feel like, what's a chai latte, grande, vanilla, be able to, so I wanted to create something for myself. For myself, and hopefully y'all like it too.
So you sparked something to me when you said the documentary out in Memphis. So have you gone to the Stax Museum?
No, I haven't. I know. I heard that I need to go there.
It's
you've been there. It's nice.
Yeah.
Oh, I didn't even know you went.
He went to Memphis on the trip.
Where you go?
And like a couple Septembers ago.
Oh.
Is Isaac Hayes' car still in there?
Yeah.
Isaac Hayes' car is in there?
Yeah.
Cadillac that they custom made for him.
Damn.
That shit official.
Got a TV in it.
Yeah. I would suggest you get out there.
Road trip.
More inspiration. You already doing your thing, but go to Stax Museum.
Okay.
But I mean, come to find out that foundation is owned by, it's ran by a white man. But that was surprising to me.
Allies, I guess.
Why it's not surprising? See, the thing about it is,
not surprising. Not to
so
me.
did you know? So the Ebony and Jet and Olive Johnson publication, the photo archive. Well, don't quote me on how many, but again, Ebony was found in 1945, all the way to recently. The Emmett Till image, Malcolm X, all the images you see belong to Johnson Publishing, and they went bankrupt, and it went up for sale, and it was so embarrassing. I think the archive only went for like $4 million, and Getty's bought it, and they flexed so hard, they just donated to the African American Museum. It's too many people that should have been together and got that. It was embarrassing to me that Getty's bought it for $4 million. All the work, all the images is
From 1945
to
to
now.
start there.
Ebony and Jet. That's all. That's it. That's it. That's how we got
That's our
news.
culture.
That's how we got news. Yeah.
4 million.
So so the surprising is like, damn, we got to do better about preservation. We almost got caught slipping. Say they bought it and then we didn't have access to it.
Exactly.
Right.
Damn.
Well, they would always license it to us.
Correct.
They'll license it. Exactly.
That's
Shout out to
crazy.
Getty's for donating to us.
All right, big 'em
That's
up
why
one
I said.
time.
That's
Big 'em
why
up
I
one time.
appreciate archive so much because it's controlled and it's from someone who looks like us.
Yes,
at
and
the end
always
of the
will
day.
be.
Exactly.
Yeah, you had a quote about not selling out to the white man, something like that.
Wait a minute. No, he lied.
I promise you said it, but
I was feeling a little radical that day. Damn. And Malcolm jumped in me real quick.
nah, but we appreciate it. But Jack of all Spades Nation, you've heard the wise words. So shout out all the socials so people can tap in with the music, the movement,
Hey.
but contribute some dollars as well.
So archive_COT is archives social media, and then on everything I believe is for me is Cheryse Terry, CHERYSE TERRY. For my personal.
Cool.
All right, well, you know where you can find her, but Nation, you know where you can find us. Anchor.fm is the reason why we're on all streaming platforms, which include Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, iHeartBreaker. What's the Amazon joint that we're on? Audible. We're on there now these days. Once again, shout out Amaris for the visuals that you can be seen on YouTube. But as always, I am the beloved one.
Thank you for having me, y'all.
Oh, nah.
Thank you for
course.
having me.
Appreciate you.
Thank you
for coming.
Shout out to Skinny J. Thank you for being the plug for this. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Skinny
Big
J.
Skinny.
All about the friends.
All about the friends.
All about
Straight up.
friends.
Straight up.
Good show.
That's my friend.
All right.
It's your boy YBB. Shout out to all the diaspora.
Thanks, Blue Water. Hey, hot take real quick.
Yes.
I know R. Kelly is canceled.
Where
Where we going with this? Where we going with this, y'all?
But like, how we feel about the music?
The music is the music, man.
He trying to be funny.
I
What you
don't
done
know where it
seen in
came
red?
from.
Nah,
What you done seen in red?
Nah, but how you feel like you hear "Step in the Name of the Love"? Like how, like
It's the same thing that people say about, a lot of different artists, but it's like you got to be able to separate the artistry from the actual person. I mean, it's hard.
Listen,
in
okay.
some senses.
So what you saying is you
Man, I
never
gotta
gonna listen to
burn it.
Michael Jackson? You
He
never gonna
seen
listen
something.
to R.
He
Kelly?
referring to something.
What did you
Well,
see,
I don't want
Banks?
to. I don't want to hear like your body's called. Like I can't because I don't know.
What space
You know,
he was in,
like
what
I'm
his
not
mind
going to
state
take
was.
it there, but I am
feel you.
stepping in the name of love. I hear.
Wait, what sparked that question?
Yeah.
We just black.
Preserving?
You said music for a second, so my head went. I know it was a mistake when you
So
said music. I was like,
All right. Well, Jack of all Spades Nation, you gonna get it live and uncut with us.
Yeah.
Blue Water Banks, Fat Boy. You got it.
So, Miss Cheryse Terry, Archive Book Cafe.
Yes.
Any parting words for Jack of all Spades Nation?
Support your people. Let's support each other. Let's plant seeds in each other. Instead of buying a $20 old fashioned, you see your friend doing their thing and they business trying to do it, cash out $15, $20. Like this may can't go to nothing major, but I want to contribute something.
Right.
Find your friends or find somebody to align with and donate on the regular once a month. Like how Ty's did 10%, maybe not 10%, but make sure even if you're not doing that, you still are planting the seeds. Because that's the only way Archive could have existed if people didn't plant seeds in me. It couldn't have existed without that. So the last words for y'all is invest in your people, y'all community, invest in your people so that we can see more things like Archive because we need it. I would love to see 10 of them spring out like from other people. So yes, let's build.
Message, the biggest message right there. Now, Jack of all Spades Nation, you know how we close this thing out. One time for a Tribe Called Quest. Rest in peace, Phife Dawg, a.k.a. Malik Taylor. Tell your mother, tell your father, send a telegram, and we out.